Hi there, welcome to Camping Secrets. I'm Marky Mark. I'm really excited today. I've got this brand new Anker 767 power station. This is a lithium iron phosphate battery pack, but it's got a ton of features that I've not seen before on any power station. So I want to get it unboxed. I want to test it for a week or two and then come back and tell you how it's going. We'll do a little time lapse just to cut out the boring testing part. But let's get it unboxed quickly now, then I'll pause the video, come back, but this is gonna be amazing. So Anker are a company that I've been using for a long time now. I used to buy their battery packs, the small ones for charging mobile phones, off Amazon. And I think they've been going since about 2012. They're a Chinese company, and that does put some people off, but I think they're high quality. Look, so we've got this little bag at the top, instructions book here. It's really well packed. I love it when you get carry handles in the box so you can move it from your porch to where you need to before you unbox it. A lot of other companies just stick it in a normal cardboard box with no carry handles, and it's a pain to move. So here we got solar accessory for plugging in your solar panels. We've got a 12 volt cigarette lighter style 10 amp DC socket, and then we just got a mains 240 volt 3-pin UK plug. So that's in the top. Let's undo this. I can see the beast. Get those muscles working. So as I say, yeah, absolutely really nicely packed. So Anker really do quality stuff, very rugged devices. I've had no problems with any of my Anker gear, and I do recommend, if you're looking for a mobile phone charger, Anker just make great little power packs. So here is the 767 itself. So let's just give a little overview and then we'll cut to the intro. But first thing to note, you got wheels on it. I really like this. This is a heavy device. It's 2048 watt hours of power, which is, at the top end of what we expect, similar to the Jackery 2000 Pro, the Bluetti AC200 Max. Those sort of power packs, this is up there with that power. It weighs 30.5 kilograms. And it does take two hands, but having these wheels on the back means you can easily move it around. So I think that is a real advantage of this, just on first looks. There's also a little handle for pulling out, even better for walking around with. I mean, that is so cool. And it looks a great mechanism, actually. There's a little button here to stow it away, and it locks in place. Absolutely amazing. Right, so as I said, it's lithium iron phosphate, 2048 watt hours. It's got a 2.3 kilowatt inverter, so up again at that top end of what it can power. And what really sets us apart is that it uses gallium nitride electronics inside for super fast charging and also high efficiency. You'll have noticed in my previous videos with other manufacturers, I keep talking about efficiency, because if you're paying for 2048 watt hours of battery power and you're only getting 1500, you're basically losing so much efficiency that you're not really getting what you pay for, in my view. But Anker say that the gallium nitride electronics in here, A, can last a long time, and B, are very efficient and work at the high powers and high temperatures that you would expect. Anker also use industrial grade electronics for a long lifetime. They can last 6 to 7 times longer than standard electronic components. And Anker also offer a 5-year, no quibbles warranty. So that's the key specs, but I'm going to now go and take this and test it for a week or two and come back and tell you my opinion on it. And we'll talk through, you know, what is the actual efficiency of this, what kind of things can it power, and what's my overall verdict. Let's dig into this. Okay, welcome back. I've been now playing with the Anker 767 PowerHouse for a couple of weeks, and I am very impressed. Chief among those impressions is the build quality. It just feels super, super rugged. And actually Anker say they've put a lot of care and attention into making sure everything is packed really securely inside the power station. And you can actually use these wheels with this fantastic stowaway handle. It's like an item of luggage. But you can drag this along, you know, cobblestones and things like that, and you're not going to work things loose inside. So that's a great comfort. This telescopic handle is so, so secure. And I'm not one to really sort of rhapsodize about things like this, but it just feels really well designed. Of course, the downside of having the handle in the upper section here is that there's no wireless charging like Bluetti offer, but I don't think that's a massive downside of this power station. And to be actually truthful, I do like having this handle here instead of that wireless charging. I think it makes it easier to get around. 30.5 kilograms, the 767, and that's probably the heaviest power station I've tested so far. It is at the high end of capacity, 2048 watt hours, and we will be doing a full charge discharge test to see how much of that 2048 watt hours is actually available for you, the user. So I mentioned before that this uses lithium iron phosphate batteries. So that means it's lithium anode and iron phosphate cathode. These give much, much longer lifetimes than standard lithium ion, lithium, nickel, manganese, cobalt batteries that Jackery use, but nearly all the other manufacturers have moved to what we call LFP batteries, lithium iron phosphate, and Anker is no different to that. Now, one downside of lithium iron phosphate is for the same amount of power as standard lithium, you need more battery cells. And so that makes the packs bigger, heavier, and, you know, less easy to carry around, less portable. And this is no exception. This is 2048 watt hours. It's a big device. It's around 53 centimeters long, 25 deep, and about 40 high. You know, so it's no shrinking violet. So one thing to bear in mind. Let's move to the front, go through what we've got. I'll just sit on the table here, don't mind if I do. It is my house. On the top here, you've got a strip light, which is really nice. So you can use this as a lantern if you put it in your camper van or even in your tent on a campsite and you don't want to bring your own camping light. This is pretty good. You can press it once for one brightness, twice for a bit more bright, and a 3 for really bright. If you hold it down, you get an SOS. But I do find the SOS quite funny. I mean, I can't believe you would be up on a mountaintop with one of these things, so why you need SOS, I have no idea. Let's turn that off there. The display is a brilliant display. But first so at the moment it's showing under its steady state conditions how much battery life is left, 25% at the moment, in nice big bold bright letters. So that's really good to see. When you're charging or using the device, it tells you how long you've got left to charge, how much power is coming in, and then equally when you're discharging, it tells you how much you've got left. So I really like that it's giving an estimation of time. A lot of competitors don't do that. They just say how much power is coming in, and you're left to work out yourself how much longer it's going to take. Great that Anker have thought about that. There is a power saving mode that turns the display off. It also switches off any sort of these outputs if they're not being used. So I like that. It means you're not going to get parasitic drain or phantom drain of the power pack. If it's not being used, it turns everything off. We've got 3 240 volt UK 3-pin plug sockets on the front. And they're obviously the outputs of the inverter, the gallium nitride prime inverter, which is in the 767. So this gives you your AC mains power output, and I like that there's 3 of these. 1 or 2 I'd feel a bit underchanged, but I think 3 is a good compromise. And you know, some competitors are even putting 4 on the front now, which is, you know, ideal, I think. But 3 is a good compromise. So these have got their own little button here, which you have to press to activate these sockets. It's a single press, a little light comes on, and it starts telling you I've got 14.7 hours of lifetime left for this battery on AC power. Obviously I don't know, it can't really work that out unless there's actual power draw, because it doesn't know what I'm going to be using. You can turn that off with a single press. Next to here we've got 12 volt cigarette style sockets, 2 of them, DC, 10 amps each. They've got a little rubber cover hit to stop dust getting in, but nice to see 2 of these so you can run, say, a cooler or fridge or something, any 12 volt lamp or heater or whatever that you might require in there. Again, that's got its own activation button for on and off. And then on the right here, we've got USB connectivity. And what's brilliant with the 767, we've got 3 100 watt USB-Cs. These are the daddy of USB, 100 watts. So this will charge anything from a phone really quickly up to, you know, modern laptops at 100 watts, all with one socket, the USB-C. And, you know, nearly all of my appliances now, small appliances, are USB-C. This is perfect for me, having 3 100 watt high power USB-Cs. And then below that, we've got the high power USB-As. So 5 USB sockets in total, all high power. You know, you couldn't really ask for anything more than that. And that's streets ahead of the competition, having 3 100 watt USB-Cs. And that's pretty much it on the front. Again, we've got these wheels. On the side, there's no connectivity at all, but it's just vents here for cooling the device. So air comes in and out. And we'll have a look at the fan noise when operating in a few minutes later on in the video. Let's turn the device around. Again, everything nicely covered. On the top here are the input sockets and override. Another great thing with the 767, there's no external power brick. So if you want to charge it from the mains, it's just a simple cable, plugs it into the wall. None of this power brick business. I hate these external power bricks, and thankfully Anker have put the power supply inside the box. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to pack anything else. If you forget this, you can easily grab one from your kettle, plug it in and charge it. No nonsense. I really, really like that. On the other side here, we've got our solar input or DC input. So this is where your panels come in. There's a little accessory that comes here, all XT60. So XT60 in. And then your separate solar panels come in with XT60 here. And you can have up to 1,000 watts of input power from solar panels. I'm not going to demonstrate that today. We've not got a lot of sun at the moment, but in the summer I will definitely demonstrate that. But 1,000 watts is a decent input. If for some reason you get tripping, there's a little button here for override, and that enables you to get started with your charging again. And then also this XT60 will allow you to charge the device via your car cigarette lighter or similar, again with an XT60 which pops in here. So it's all pretty standard connectivity here, and I really like that. They're not using sort of bespoke 8mm, you know, connectors and the like. Let's talk about charging on mains. It can take up to 2,200 watts of AC power in from your mains. 2,200 watts. That's way higher than any other power station on the market. And what that means is, in theory, and we'll test this, it can go from 0 to 80% full charge in about an hour. 1 hour. That's incredible. And that's partly due to the gallium nitride electronics used by Anker. The first of its kind in power stations, enables ultra-fast charging, and that is a real boon. I'm very excited to see what the efficiency of this power pack is. As I said before, it's lithium iron phosphate, and I've had bad experiences testing efficiency with LFP batteries in the past. So from other manufacturers, I've seen efficiencies of around 70 to 75%, whereas with NMC, standard lithium, being up closer to 85, 90%. What I'm hoping for with the 767 is that it can combine the longevity of LFP batteries, and we'll just talk about that briefly in a minute. So it can combine that longevity of LFP with a high efficiency. And if this can get anywhere near 90% efficiency and using LFP batteries, I'll be very impressed. So what am I on about with the efficiency here? I got talking about it but got sidetracked. LFP batteries have a much longer lifetime. They can be charged and discharged many more times than standard lithium. So even though you need more batteries for a certain power, making the power station a bit bigger, it's going to last a lot longer. So Anker have said that the 767 can withstand 3,000 charge-discharge cycles and still be at 80%. So that's about using this every day for 10 years, and you'd still have 80% of your 2,048 watt hours capacity left. So that's astounding. And I would say if you're going to be using your power station every day, or it's going to be hooked into a solar panel permanently, and it's going to be charged, discharged every day continuously, you don't want anything else other than LFP batteries, because you need that lifetime. If you're using standard lithium ion and it's getting charged, discharged all the time, within a year or two, it's going to be completely finished. However, they are bigger battery packs using LFP. 30 kilograms, this one. It's difficult to move around. If you're not plugging in your battery station and using it every single day, charging, discharging, and you're using it, say, once a week when you go camping, or once a month when you go camping, or occasionally when there's a mains power cut, in that case, I personally don't think you need the massive lifetime of LFP. And I'm not so sure it's still great to have that longevity, but you don't necessarily need it. So that's all I'm saying. When you're making a choice of battery power stations, think about how you're going to use it. If it's going to be wired into your home and get charged, or motorhome and get charged, discharged all the time, definitely go for something with LFP like the Anker 767. If you're just an occasional user of the power station, then I don't think it matters which battery technology you go for, and you need to look at other features to make your choice. And for me, size and portability and weight are quite important parameters for camping. So in those cases, you might want to go for standard lithium ion. It's just my views, but it doesn't mean that this is not a brilliant power station. Okay, what else have we got? There's another connector on the back, down the bottom here. And this is battery expansion. So yes, if you're not happy with 2,048 watt hours of power capacity storage, you can connect up another battery pack of the same capacity, and it just plugs in here. And of course, the expansion battery is a lot cheaper than the main 767. So you've got another battery that pops on the top here, hooks up here, and you've instantly doubled your capacity. So I love that the 767 is future-proof in that way. It gives peace of mind. If you feel you need more storage capacity, then expansion is the way forward. One other thing to mention, I did mention the 5-year warranty. I think that is a real mind saver, having 5 years. I mean, the competition don't all give 5 years. I've seen 2 years, 3 years. having 5 years, and just the weight of Anker as a company. They're a really big mainstream brand, and I think that counts for a lot when you're buying something like this. You want it to be safe. You don't want any risk of fire, and you know, the Anker have got real-time monitoring of temperature inside this power station. I don't envisage any problems, and if there are any problems, Anker are going to sort them out. So peace of mind makes me really, really like the 767. I like the look of it. It's rugged, easy to use, very, very nice. One other thing to mention is that there is a smartphone app for the 767, and actually that will control all Anker power stations which are compatible with the app, obviously, and that enables you to see, you know, the battery status, how much power is being used, and you can log on either via Wi-Fi in your home or via Bluetooth. So say you've got this out in the middle of nowhere, you've got no phone signal, you can still log in with the app and, you know, control it and monitor it with ease. Fantastic. Right, I'm gonna now take this device and charge it up from 0% up to 100% and see how long it takes. We've got this gallium nitride charger inside. I'm really excited to see the speed. If it's anywhere near 80% in 1 hour, this is a leader. Let's dig into it. So we're down at 1% on the 767, and we're going to charge it up to 100%. Now, as I mentioned before, we've got gallium nitride prime electronics in here, and this is a first for power stations on the market, and it's a great innovation by Anker. Gallium nitride is an alternative to silicon for electronics. It's got a larger band gap, and it means it can withstand higher temperatures but also give higher efficiencies. And by using gallium nitride in the 767, Anker say that it can get much higher overall efficiency, and it enables fast charging. So 2,200 watts is capable of going into this, which, you know, Anker say can give you 80% of its full capacity in about an hour of charging on mains. That's absolutely incredible. We're going to put that to the test now. I'm going to start a stopwatch and see how long it takes to get to 80 and then 100%. So let's get the stopwatch ready. I plugged it in here, so I'm just going to turn that on and then click go on the stopwatch. So on, click. So it's kicking in now, 61 watts, 100 watts. And because it's so flat, it might take a little while to get going. 200 watts. So all power stations do this, they slowly ramp up the power. You can't go in with the full 2,200 right at the start, especially when the battery's low. So what you find is it will ramp up quite slowly the power until this maybe hits 10-20%, then it really kicks in with the full power. So let's go into a bit of time lapse. At this current rate, it's saying about 8 hours to charge up, but I'm sure that will rapidly come down as this power goes up. Let's come back in a little bit. We're suddenly up at 2,075 watts input power. So massive increase in power, that's what we wanted to see. And you know, it's saying fully charged in less than an hour from this current point, and it's only been going 12 minutes. So it looks like we're gonna get a full charge of 2,048 watt hours in about an hour and 10 minutes or so. That is gonna be amazing. So let's carry on watching, see what happens. So the 767 just hit 80%, so it went from 0 to 80% in 56.5 minutes. That is incredibly fast charging from Anker. Really, really impressive. Under an hour to get from 0 to 80% of total battery capacity. I mean, we could stop it there. It's still, you know, 80% of 2048 is around 1,600 watt hours. So, you know, it's still got a sizable amount of capacity in there from only less than an hour's charging. Incredible. But I'm going to let it continue. The power into the device is dropping a bit now, as you would expect, just to preserve battery life. That's all part of the battery management system. But if this can get fully charged from 0 to 100% in around an hour and 15, it will blow the competition away. So far, amazing. Frankly, incredible charging results there for the Anker 767 PowerHouse. My God, I've never seen a power station at this capacity get charged so quickly. And it started off quite slow, but then it ramped up to the full 2.2 kilowatts of input power from the mains. And we went from 0% up to 80% in 56.5 minutes. That's just absolutely astounding. And then I let it continue, and the power did ramp down from the 2.2 kilowatts to around a kilowatt. But that's to be expected. That keeps the batteries, long life and doesn't stress them too much. But even with that, it went from the 0% to the full 100% in 1 hour and 10 minutes. That is easily the fastest charging power station for its size on the market. And that gets put down to this gallium nitride prime technology used in the Anker. And in my mind, that's a game changer. Now, if you're using solar power with the Anker, you can't do it at the same time as mains. If the mains is plugged in, it automatically goes full on with mains. So in combination with solar, it's, you can't do it. So that's a slight downside of the Anker, and solar on its own is 1,000 watts maximum input. So you're not going to get the speed of charging that you can get with the mains with pure solar. But even so, 1,000 watts of solar is still extremely fast and will charge it up in around 2 to 2.5 hours. Still impressive, but an hour and 10 on the mains, absolutely amazing. And then just a couple of other things. While it was charging at 2.2 kilowatts, I listened to the fan noise and there was hardly a squeak from the Anker. The fan noise is very unobtrusive, very low. And, compared with some of the competition where the fans start blasting at full power, this is as silent as a mouse. So again, great design. I've got every confidence in this Anker. It just seems to be built extremely well, extremely capable company, and yeah, very impressive. The display is extremely accurate as well with its predictions of charging time. As soon as I plugged it in, it said around 1.1 hours, which is about an hour and 10. So it predicted its own charge time extremely well, and I like to see that. It's calibrated well. One slightly strange thing I saw was that as it was charging up, it went 70%, 80%, 85%, 90%. But then from 90%, it just suddenly went to 100% and then turned off. So that was quite interesting. I've not seen that before. Normally they would go 91, 92 up to 100. It just jumped from 90 to 100 and then shut off the power. And now it still says 100%. So the big question is it at 100%? Can we get the full 2048 watt hours of capacity out? So we're going to do the reverse test now. We're going to check out the efficiency of the Anker, and I'm hoping it's really good. I'm hoping it's 90% or higher. We'll put it in the upper echelons of power stations in my eyes, and especially LFP, lithium iron phosphate battery packs. So we're going to take it from 100% down to 0% using a pair of halogen heaters I've got, which draw together around 2.2 kilowatts. The inverter on the 767 is capable of 2.3 kilowatts. So we're going to be right up at the top end of what this inverter is capable of. And we'll run it and we'll see how long it draws that power for. And then we can work out how much usable capacity has this 767 got. Let's dig into it. Okay, so we're set up now. We've got these two halogen heaters. and these take around 1.1 kilowatts each. So together 2.2 kilowatts, this could supply 2.3 kilowatts. So hopefully we'll be right up at the top limits of this, and we're going to power it from the 100% it's currently got on the front panel down to 0. And we're going to time it on a stopwatch, measure the power that comes out, and work out the capacity that was actually in this device, and compare it with the 2048 watt hours that Anker says it's got. Anything around 90% is exceptionally good. We've seen some efficiencies down at 70%, 75%, 80%, and you're just not getting what you're paying for then, in my view. But anywhere around 90 or even higher, I'll be blown away by. Okay, so here we go. We're going to activate and start the stopwatch at the same time. Here we go. Press. On. Go. We're drawing. So the fans have come on big time. This is a lot of power coming out. It's close to the maximum, so it's understandable. They are fairly loud, much louder than they were when I was charging at this rate. So that's quite interesting. It's much louder on discharge than it is on charge. So we're around 2.2 kilowatts here. It's just dropping a little bit. Right, we'll come back in a bit, see how long it takes to drain this battery completely. Just showing the app running as we're doing the discharge test. You can see the AC output, 2161 watts, and the temperature is quite high at 39 degrees C. Capacity 39%, and that's dropping down continually. But it's looking like it will hit around 50 minutes of discharge time at this power. Finished. 44 minutes. So that was the results of the discharge test, going from 100% down to 0%. So how did the Anker 767 do? Well, running at 2,162 watts, it ran for 44 minutes exactly. And if you convert 44 minutes into 60 minutes or an hour, that's the equivalent of 1,580 watt hours. And that is an efficiency compared with 2048, which Anker say this stores, of 77.5%. Now, I was expecting an efficiency of up at around 90% or even higher, judging by the reports and the articles on Anker's website, extolling the virtues of gallium nitride prime. 77.5% is, you know, an average to low efficiency. It's not exceptional. I would call anything 85% and higher exceptional, even 90% exceptional, but 77.5% efficiency, not great. I'm going to run the test again now. I was running at a really high power. I had two of those heaters running at the same time. It was close to the maximum output power of the inverter, and we're in a fairly cold conservatory. So I've recharged it back up to 100%, and I'm going to run the test again upstairs with just a single heater. So it will last a lot longer, closer to 2 hours, and I'm going to measure the power on my power meter and see if we get a better efficiency, perhaps over 80%. That would be great. Okay, let's do it again. So I'm upstairs now, and I've got the 767 here with the heater. I'm going to use just one heater this time, which is about 1.1 kilowatts. So it's about half the maximum power of the 767. And I've got my trusty power meter here. So I'm going to take the output of the heater, plug it into the power station, and activate. Now, so we're activated here. This is reset to 0 watts, and this will measure the total power draw that the heater is taking out of the 767. So we're in a warmer room now, and I'm going to go again from 100% down to 0%, and it will take, you know, up to 2 hours to do this. So I'll be back when this runs out. Let's go, turn it on. So it's running about 1 kilowatt, and that's about an hour gone. So that was really interesting. When I took the power bank back up to 100% and took it upstairs where it's warmer, and then ran it at a much lower power consumption, a lower power draw of around 1,200 watts I was drawing. So I only had one heater. When I did that, it was much more efficient. And basically I extracted 1,767 watt hours of power. And that's a lot more than I got when I ran it down here with two heaters. I only had 1,580, which was 76% or something like that. When I ran it upstairs with just one heater and lower power draw, it was much more efficient, and I got around 86% efficiency compared with the 2,048 watt hours it's meant to have. It was 1,766. So 86% efficiency when it's warmer and you're not drawing as much power. When it's colder and you're drawing close to the maximum, the efficiency drops down to 76%. And I guess that's a bit like electric cars. We hear a lot of reports of when the weather's cold outside, the batteries get less efficient, and that your range of your car drops. And I guess it's exactly the same as these power stations. So if you're not drawing as much power and it's warmer, you're going to get up around 85 to 90%. Colder conditions, it will drop below the 80%. So quite interesting to find that out. I hope you found that interesting too. Right, let's move on now and just go around the house and see what kind of appliances this 767 from Anker can power. Go for it. Seen it all now. So I've just plugged in this heater, and it's right up at the top level of the inverter, just under 2.2 kilowatts. You can hear the fans have come on quite high. So the all-important guitar amplifier test. Let's put on the guitar amp with the Anker 767 right by it and see how much noise it picks up. Pretty silent, a bit of hum from the guitar, but not too bad at all. So I've got a 3 kilowatt kettle here, and obviously 3 kilowatts is above the 2.3 kilowatts of the 767, but this can do surge of over 3 kilowatts, so it should be able to power the kettle for a little while. Let's test how long it can do it and whether it can even boil the water. Kettle's on. That's saying 2.6 kilowatts. Fans have come on. So let's just time that. Still 2.6 kilowatts. That's at least 30 seconds there. That's long enough to boil that water. So the kettle boiled there. Now I did have hot water in there originally, so I don't know if it would boil that from cold, but that's pretty impressive. Perfect. Anker say that the 767 power station can also act like an uninterrupted power supply. What that means is you can have it plugged into the mains and then power your electronics, your crucial home electronics, off the 767. And then in the event of a power cut, the power station will switch from mains power to battery power seamlessly, and you won't have to reboot your computer, lose all your work, or stop your viewing on the TV. So at the moment I've got the television plugged into the power station and the mains power plugged in at the back. I'm going to go in, turn off the mains, and hopefully the television will stay on. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3. Still going. That's pretty cool. And let's just go the other way. Now it's on battery power. Let's switch it back onto mains. So the mains power gets restored. 1, 2, 3. Hear a little click, and it seamlessly swaps over, but the television has been running the whole time. Great stuff. So then, what's our conclusions on the Anker 767 PowerHouse power station? Well, firstly, you can't get over the size and weight of this thing. It is big. It is a suitcase on wheels. Literally has got wheels. It's got this great telescopic handle. It's lovely for moving around. So I do like that design of it. LiPo battery technology. So the lifetime of this will be yonks and yonks and yonks. So, 10 years of use every day, and you still got 80% capacity. Brilliant. I do like LiPo for that. For camping uses, occasional use, it may be a bit of overkill this size. I wouldn't really want to be hoisting this into the car, but if you're going for a while and you've got solar panels, it could be useful. You could even install this into your motorhome as sort of a base station power supply with solar panels, not a problem. Functionality wise, it's very, very good. I love the 3 AC outputs, great display. You've got that smartphone app as well, which allows you to remotely check in on the battery and see that everything's working, see what powers are going around. Got this lighting strip at the top, nice, and 2 DC outputs and 5 USBs, all high power. Really, really good set of outputs there. On the back, you've got XT60 input for solar panel, up to 60 volts, 1000 watts. And then the charge time of this on the mains is the best I've seen. Around 1 hour, 10 minutes from 0 to 100%. And for 0 to 80%, it was around 55 minutes. That is the fastest I've seen on the market. Absolutely brilliant. That's the gallium nitride electronics used inside the 767. On top of that, there's an expansion port on the back. You can expand this up, adding on extra batteries, so it's modular in that sense. Extremely good. The inverter, very, very good. It's quiet. I used it with my guitar amplifier and no additional hum. 2.3 kilowatts. It powered heaters, it powered hair dryers, it even powered a 3 kilowatt kettle for over a minute and boiled water. Really impressive that. Let's talk about efficiency. In the past, I've tested a lot of lithium iron phosphate LiPo batteries and sometimes seen poor efficiencies, under 80%, 75%. This one is no different. I did get 76% efficiency, but then I realized I was running it in this quite a cold room, and I was running it at a very high power draw, around over 2 kilowatts. And when I was doing that, I got about 76% efficiency. I then tried the test again, going from 100% to 0% in a warmer room at less power draw of only 1 kilowatt. And in that case, it was 86% efficient. And when I say that, I mean out of the 2048 watt hours that Anker say you're getting, I was getting about 1,760. And that's not bad, that is good. You know, anywhere up towards 90% efficiency is really good in my opinion. And this managed to achieve that under certain fixed conditions. So you just be aware, if you're drawing at very high power, over 2 kilowatts, your efficiency is going to drop. And if the temperature is cold, your efficiency is going to drop. It's just like electric cars in that sense. And the final thing I want to say is Anker themselves. They're a really reputable company. They were big suppliers on Amazon for a long time. I've got loads of battery packs by Anker. I don't think you can go wrong. They offer a 5-year warranty on the 767, and I just think that's fantastic. If you get any issues, Anker customer service is very, very good. So I give this a thumbs up. I do think it's one of the best power stations on the market at the moment. If you're interested in getting one, just check our link below. If you choose to buy through our link, we do get a small commission, but it's no extra cost to you. So we would be very grateful if that happens. And please subscribe to our channel and like this video. It really helps us and shows that you're enjoying our content. We're going to be producing more power station and camping videos over the course of this year. So stay tuned for that. See you soon. Bye.